शङ्कराय 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 वन्दनम्। शङ्करी मनोहराय शाश्वताय मङ्गलम्। शङ्कराय 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 वन्दनम्। शङ्करी मनोहराय शाश्वताय वन्दनम्। ऋषभरूढवन्दनम्। गङ्गाधराय वन्दनम्। ऋषभरूढवन्दनं गङ्गाधराय वन्दनम्। महेश्वराय वन्दनम्। दिगम्बराय वन्दनम्। महेश्वराय वन्दनम्। दिगम्बराय वन्दनम्। शङ्कराय 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 वन्दनम्। शङ्करी मनोहराय शाश्वताय वन्दनम्। शङ्कराय वन्दनम्। सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्बत्वामनुसन्तदामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। First of all, thank you all for coming for this 5-day program. We will be seeing the essence of Bhagavad Gita. This text, Bhagavad Gita, is very well known, and most of the Chinmaya Mission members are expected to know. If you say, I am a Chinmaya Mission member, and you do not know Bhagavad Gita, they look at you very strangely. Because Gurudev was known very well in this world as the one who brought the wisdom of Gita to the masses for over 40 years. I remember when he took Samadhi, when he passed away, I was in Calcutta in 93, and the Statesman, the local newspaper, had a headline when he passed away. That headline was, first page, "The Gita's foot soldier passed away." And the one who carried the message of Gita to so many people, like a foot soldier. So it has been my favorite subject also. The Bhagavad Gita is a man-making science, as Gurudev would call it. And it has an in-depth understanding of human psychology. And that is the reason why even today, in most of the management circles, people who study management necessarily will also take it Gita as a subject matter. Recently, I had a small camp for university students in our Krishnalaya PRC ashram in California. I was talking to them about the 4 paths in Hinduism. And the students were from various departments, mainly from religious studies, all of them non-Indian students. And the professor who brought them is a German. And when he started talking about these 4 paths, all the 4 paths very well known: the path of knowledge, the path of devotion, the path of action, the path of meditation. These are all found in Bhagavad Gita, and more also. So I told them, different people will have different approach to life. In the same way, different approaches to spirituality also. It depends upon the temperament of the individual. So Krishna, the teacher here, considering the human nature, he never said, this is the only path you can walk. You can create your own also. Broadly classified, he said these 4 paths are seen to be most efficacious for human beings to easily follow. So some years back, I decided to collect essential 50 verses from Bhagavad Gita to highlight important teachings from this text. This is in no way to justify the 700 verses that are there in Bhagavad Gita. Somebody asked me, Swamiji, among these 700 verses that are there, which is the most important? I said, every one of them. So, the collection of 50 verses is not to say that others are not useful or others do not have a message. But always we like shortcut everything. Not. When we give lectures for 5 days or so, the last day people come and say, Swamiji, I have a question. Yes. Give me one single advice which you collectively, after 5 days, give me that. After listening for 5 days, they want one single advice. Usually people go for, smaller little doses of things. So one of the reasons why I have collected these 50 verses is to give a glimpse of those people who do not have the background of studying Bhagavad Gita. So please do not think that, oh, this is not there, that is not there. Those who are familiar with Gita, oh, you eliminated this verse, this is so most important. The intention is not to remove anything else, everything else, but it is to highlight some of the points in this beautiful text. Broadly speaking, Upanishads are those which give us a view of life. Because in daily life we do not have a spiritual goal. We have immediate goals like getting the good job or getting educated first and then getting a good job and then making our life, then family and other things, business, making money and this and other things. Upanishads, on the other hand, give us a view of life from the standpoint of a soul. When I say soul, what we mean by that is that which is traveling for many, many lives. We know our life only from the time we are born and the time we will die. That is a short journey of a soul in the body. Just like when you get into a train or a flight and then get off from the flight is a short journey to reach a particular destination. But that is not the whole journey of your life. In the same way, being in this physical body is a short journey for the soul. And whatever we learn during this short journey, at the level of our intellect, many professional knowledge we gain, various other things we come to know, these things do not touch the soul at all. That is the reason why we have to learn it again and again whenever we come back. Whereas spiritual knowledge is not addressed to a particular human intellect alone. Spiritual knowledge is addressed to the soul. Sri Krishna says in 6th chapter that when Arjuna asks this question, if I am not able to reach a level of perfection in my life this time, will I have to start again all over? Krishna says no. About the perfection of life, when you have learned, it is forever. So wherever you stopped, there you begin next time. Whereas our professional knowledge is not like that. You may be an English professor in this birth. Next birth you start with A for apple, B for box, C for cat and D for dog, and start all over again. Whereas the spiritual knowledge is that which is now seen as addressed to the soul. Wherever you have left behind, there you start. So Krishna was teaching Arjuna not about how to fight the war. He is talking about how to dissolve your eternal problems. Therefore, the teaching in Bhagavad Gita is addressed to the soul of each one of us. It is about the eternal journey of the soul. It is for self-perfection. That's why it says self-discovery, a path to perfection. So Upanishads talk about the highest goal of the soul. And one of the very famous among the 4 Vakyas, Mahavakyas or great declarations is Tat Tvam Asi. Thou art that. You are that. What you are searching, that you are. It comes in Chandogya Upanishad. And the Veda Vyasa, the author of Bhagavad Gita, decided to expand this beautiful statement. There are three statements here, three words to say. You, number one. That, the second. And are. You are that. Tat means that. Tvam is you. Asi is you are. So this is expanded in 18 chapters. Traditional scholars say first 6 chapters are about you, because everything begins with you. If I say I have to go somewhere, beginning is me, and then where I want to go and how I have to go. If I have to go from here to Los Angeles, then I say I want to go to Los Angeles, and how will I go now? Similarly, here, Upanishad's statement of Tattvamasi is found in Bhagavad Gita in 3 categories or 3 broad divisions. First 6 chapters are about you. The next 6 chapters are about where you want to go. And the last 6 chapters about how. So first 6 chapters about Tvam, you. Wherever you are, whoever you are. Then 6 chapters are about what is the destination which you need to reach. And the last 6 chapters are about how the destination that you are seeking is already there in you. Only thing is you have to undo everything. That's why last part of the Gita says, Sarva dharman parityajya. Leaving aside all other things, you start looking for me within you, and you reach there. I guarantee this. So we will begin with you. So first question is, what is that I am busy with now? I am busy with my work. I am busy with what I am doing. Everyone is busy. That's why some people have not come, let us say, for this satsang. You ask them, what happened? You didn't come for that. In Hindi, what they say, bahut kaam hai. Right? I have a lot of work. Correct or not? So why you have bahut kaam? Because bahut kaam hai. Meaning I have too much desire. In Hindi, kaam means work. In Sanskrit, kaam means desire. इसलिए मेरा मन काम नहीं है. That is in English, my mind is not calm. Quiet. I am so busy in my mind. So our life begins with action. So here also, first 6 chapters are mainly focused on action. The path of karma is elaborately discussed here. But every such literature or philosophy or discussion should start with showing a problem and also showing the solution. You take any movie, it begins well, and slowly they build up the problem. Then how the problem affects everybody, and then how to dissolve that problem. So here also, using the same technique, Vyasa poses a problem here. In the form of Arjuna happened to fight with his own people. So that is where the teaching begins. So we'll read the first verse, verse number 1. It's actually verse number 1 in Bhagavad Gita. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya. A brief about this story that is behind this. Many of you know it. Pandavas and Kauravas, cousin brothers, Kaurava dynasty, and the ruler Pandu happened to die. He's the second son. The first son was Dhritarashtra, who was blind. Usually the custom in India is the blind person is not allowed to be a king. So the second Pandu was given this opportunity to rule, but he happened to die in untimely death. But they were all living together, so happened to be Dhritarashtra has to be the king now because Pandu has died. So he came into power. Pandu had 5 sons: Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakul and Sahadev. Just like 5 fingers in our hand. Each one of them are excellent in their own way. Dhritarashtra had 100 plus children. The foremost being Duryodhana. Duryodhana had always a rough experience, rough relationship with these 5 Pandu sons, Pandavas. Because he always felt that he was given a second position in everything. Though he is the son of the first, son of the dynasty. It so happened, when the Dhritarashtra was ruling, he thought that once these Pandu's children have come up of age, they should be given the rulership also. Then they they gave a small part of the country for the Pandavas to rule. And Dhritarashtra continued to rule the major portion, and the Pandavas, the eldest one, Yudhishthira, very efficient one, very noble one, he developed his kingdom very well, very rich, very prosperous. Duryodhana was waiting to be the king after Dhritarashtra. He was very, very jealous of this. He said, we gave a small portion and they made it so prosperous. Economy is doing well, share market is going up there. I have to acquire that also. So Dhritarashtra said, don't have this kingdom, it's their property, let them. No. Then he called Yudhishthira for a game of dice. Yudhishthira had a weakness for this game, like a chess game. So then, with the help of his own uncle, the uncle meaning the brother of his mother Gandhari was a very noble lady, but when she married to Dhritarashtra, since Dhritarashtra was blind, she decided to blind for herself. If my husband cannot see, I don't want to see. Those times that was like that. So, then with the help of the uncle Shakuni, Duryodhana could defeat Yudhishthira, and in the process he acquired all the land. And then sent them to forest for 13 years. 12 years in forest and 1 year of incognito, should not be seen by anybody. After many deliberation, it is said that after 13 years, the land will be given back. The country was ruling. But it so happened that Duryodhana became so greedy. After 13 years, when they came back, he said, I'm not giving you anything. If you are a warrior class, Kshatriya, fight and take it. Krishna was the mediator in between. But he could not convince Duryodhana to give the land back. So finally they have to declare a war. So a very short part of the story. So now the war has begun. It's about to begin. Duryodhana is the excellent archer of his times. So he was standing there against the Kauravas, and when he looked at the people with whom he has to fight, he was shocked. In fact, when he came to the war field, he was so much full of anger, feeling of revenge, that I have to kill these fellows because they, decide they have taken away my land, our land, and in spite of the agreement, we were denied this, our land and our property. Therefore, I have to literally take these people into task. Duryodhana was ably supported by Karna also, who was equally a very great archer like Arjuna, but not given much chances to prove himself. And Duryodhana supported him. Therefore, Karna was in the side. So, major two people he has to fight with, Duryodhana and Karna. To his utter surprise, he saw his own teacher, Dronacharya, was standing on the other side. When Arjuna asked Krishna, please place my chariot in front of those people whom I have to fight with, Senayor ubayor madhye ratam sthapaya me achyuta. Please place my chariot in front of those people whom I am going to fight with. Krishna very strategically did not place that chariot in front of Duryodhana and Karna. He placed the chariot in between Bhishma and Drona. Bhishma was the great-grandfather of the Kaurava dynasty, and Dronacharya was the teacher of both Pandavas and Kauravas. And having placed the chariot, Krishna, as usual, look at your enemies, whom you are going to fight with. So the anger and revengefulness with which Arjuna came to the battlefield suddenly disappeared. Why? Because he saw his own teacher and his own grandfather. And he looked around, uncles and cousins and all the people whom he knew for so many years, who were elder to him, some people who were grown up with him, his friends and others. He suddenly said, why should I fight now? After all, by fighting I am going to kill all my people. And in their blood I am going to rule the kingdom. Does it make me happy to kill my own people? Is it right to do that? In the name of war, what are we trying to do? To prove to whom? For what purpose? For just a property and richness and wealth and fame and name? Is that for what? Are we not now, after having left our country for 12, 13 years, we are surviving? Why not we survive like this? Why do we need a kingdom? Suddenly there was such an inner transformation that took place in the mind of Arjuna. So this was the first day of the war. And this is being reported directly, live webcast, by Sanjaya, the personal assistant of the king Dhritarashtra. And he has said, in this battlefield, Dharma Kshetre, that's the first word, in the place where Dharma, the righteousness, rules, which the name of the place is Kurukshetra, which is the land of Kurus, the dynasty. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha. The relatives of the same family, Yuyutsavaha, Yodhum Ichavaha, meaning those who decided to fight against each other, they are there. So Dhritarashtra is saying, Mamakaha, my people. Pandavaha, the opposite people. Kim akurvata, what has happened there? Please report to me, O Sanjaya. What is the outcome of the war? Now understand, Sanjay, even though he was giving a live telecast, but when Vyasa wrote this point, he said, this is a recollection of what happened between Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya, and he wrote this after 10 days. Meaning, once the Bhishma had already taken to the bed of arrows where he decided not to fight, this report has come as Bhagavad Gita. So, this is the recollection of the conversation that took place between between Sanjaya and Dhritarashtra on looking at the first day of the war. Now, interestingly, we'll see characters representing our human psyche. Dhritarashtra, the very word means one who holds on to the kingdom. Dhrita means holding on. Rashtra means the country. This represents our own personality, which is known as the jiva, the individual soul, the individual being. We are so much in love with our own being. This body is a kshetra, rashtra. From the day we are born till the time we die, we are so much in love with our own being. Isn't that true? Nobody told you that you are your body. Has anybody told you from the day you are born till today? You are your body, you are your body, you are your body. Anybody told you? Is it not true that we blindly fell in with love with that? Your mother told you that you are the... Unfortunately, this is how people look at us also. That's why we put layer after layer, decorate it and then made sure that this is pampered all the time. And therefore, who are all we? Dhritarashtra. We are all Dhritarashtras, holding on to our own individual personality. And we are married to the mind. The mind which is blind. It can see, it decided not to see. That's called Gandhari. Gandhar is in Afghanistan actually now. Kandahar. She's from that place. So, the blindfolded Gandhari is our mind. In spite of education, it doesn't give us the correct vision. In spite of knowing, it doesn't see. Pashyanna pichavana pashyati moodaha. Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, even though you can see, you decided not to see. That is the nature of Gandhari, who is married. So our Gurudev used to say, when this ignorant jiva married to this blind mind, the product of it is hundreds of negativities. Unholy wedlock. So, this unholy wedlock has created hundreds of negative traits in us. The foremost is Duryodhana. The very word means, Dur means difficult, Yodhana means to fight. Yuddha means to fight. Yodhanam, to fight. Duryodhanam, difficult to fight. Meaning our most beautiful ego. Ego is that which you can never fight with. Not only yours, but others also. So he is a very strong personality in us. Very strong. What is the nature of ego? Ego's nature is identification. It identifies with something, and about that it has a strong ego, meaning strong sense of I-ness and mindness. So, Jiva, the individual soul, mind, blind mind, that is Gandhari, the product of that is ego. So these three of them hold the fort, hold the kingdom. All of us have some good values which are not taught to us, which has come to us, because the divine nature of us are hidden. Our divine nature is hidden in us. For example, do you want yourself to be respected by all? Do you want to be loved? Do you want everybody to tell you the truth? Do you want to be considered? Your opinion needs to be considered. Do you want people around you who are sincere to you, trustful? Is it not that we appreciate all these values? Love, trust, sincerity, honesty, truthfulness, all these things So we have those values, but we do not express them. We want others to love us, others to respect us, others to be sincere. So those values are in us, few of them. So Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakul and Sahadev, there are expressions of these good virtues in us. They are few in number, but they are suppressed. For example, Yudhishthira means, the very word means one who is steady in what he does. Yudhi means in any challenge. Sthiraha, steady. He is sincere in what he does. Arjuna, for example, the very word means straightforwardness. Rujatvat Arjuna. Like an arrow. Arrow is always straight. So being straightforward, you want people to be straight. You don't want people to say something and do something else. That is called kutilata, crookedness. Bhima, being fearless. Nakula, indiscriminate. Meaning, don't discriminate among people. He is high, he is low, and I want him, I don't know. So want him to be same. Sahadeva, friendly. So these qualities are few in number in us, but they are not given a chance to bring themselves forward. So when these good qualities are to come up in us, we have to fight the war. Against what? Against ego. That's the war. The war against your own lower nature. So Bhagavad Gita is therefore an inner battle. The war between the good and the bad. Dark Vaders and what is it called? Skywalker. Right? So that good in us trying to fight out the evil in us. Both are in the same place. That's why Samaveda, you is born to the same family. So Krishna here is not addressing Arjuna to fight a war outside, even though that is the way it is, the story is. But his whole emphasis is that the war is happening within you. Good versus evil. So in this very kshetra body, which is meant for the right thing, dharma kshetre, presently ruled by kurus, the negative forces. Samavedaha, of the same family, yuyutsavaha, fighting against each other. And then Dhritarashtra says, mamakaha, meaning me and my people, meaning all the negativities. Pandavaha, of the good. Kim akurvata, what happened? Say Sanjaya, please tell me. So when we start looking at this beautiful text in the form of a human analysis, human psychology, you realize that the teaching is for our own inner contemplation, for us to recognize what is negative in us and how it has become so powerful, and what is good in us, how it is being suppressed. And we must give an opportunity for the good values to come to the forefront and start fighting. And the problem is, the good being very less in number, they have been suppressed for a long period of time, they do not have the inspiration to fight. That is where Arjuna is standing. I am unable to see, because I have to fight with myself. My own pet thoughts. Very often you see people saying that, oh, I have to solve the situation. Unless I shout, nothing happens. So the shouting and being angry, we consider it as a good ally for us, but it's not. But that's how it works. So we have to fight against our own habits, our own wrong way of doing things. And we are used to it. And therefore we don't see it as negative. But when we start looking at them as something which does not allow me to grow further, I have to wage a war. And that's where Arjuna comes. And fortunately for Arjuna, there is a mentor. There is a person who can teach him. Beautifully it is said in Kathopanishad, because if you have seen the scene of Bhagavad Gita, you might have found a chariot, and Arjuna is sitting there, and Krishna is a driver's seat, and 4 horses. This whole picturization came from Upanishad. Atmanam ratinam viddhi shariram ratamevatu indriyani hayanahuhu vishayanteshu gocharan Atmendriyamanor yuktam bhokta ityahur manishinaha. Atmanam ratinam viddhi. Yourself is the owner of this chariot. The shariram ratamevatu. The body is the chariot. Buddhim tusaratim viddhi. Understand your buddhi, intellect as the driver. Manapragrahamevacha, mind is the reins. Indriyani hayanahuhu, your sense organs are the horses. Vishayanteshu gocharan, the world of objects is the road. Atme indriya mano yuktam bhokta ityahur manishinaha. So understand, the whole scenario is you, the owner of the chariot, chariot being the body, the driver is your intellect, the horses are the sense organs, the reins is the mind, the road is the world. This is how Vyasa has understood and brought it into Bhagavad Gita. If you see this whole thing, Arjuna, you and I. Who is the teacher there? Krishna is your buddhi. You are driver of that chariot. And the chariot being this physical body in which we travel. What is driving the chariot? Meaning how the chariot is being pulled. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin. 5 horses. And what is behind the 5 horses? Mind. The buddhi holds the mind, and the mind is that which holds the horses, and on which we are traveling, the world. So now, when the individual you is confused, who will answer this? Nobody else is there. Buddhi, the charioteer. And the enlightened intellect alone can teach the ego, teach the individual. See Jiva there. Right? So Krishna is representing the enlightened, the driver. So in each one of us, that driver, the buddhi, the intellect is present, sleeping. To awaken him, to awaken the Krishna within us is the work of Bhagavad Gita. Once the Krishna in you is awakened, you don't need a teacher again outside. He will take care of it. So our Gurudev used to say, our intellect, an informed intellect, is the great inspiration for us to have as our guide. External teacher and the books, etc., are is to invoke the inner Guru in us. Once that vision is clear, the path is clear, the chariot can move on. The point is, these 5 horses, they have, each one of them have their own interests. So they go in their own directions. To hold them back is the mind. And that's what the buddhi does, hold the reins. So when the teaching takes place, if you've seen that beautiful Gita Upadesham, the picturization, Krishna holds the rein into himself and turns towards Arjuna and talks to him. Meaning, when you are being taught, hold the senses under control. If they are running, your mind is running, and the chariot is moving, and you cannot do anything else. And chariot moves according to the whims of the horses. So beautifully it is thus portrayed there. So the conversation between Arjuna and Krishna is taking place. And Krishna does not say a word until Arjuna asks a question. So when Arjuna saw all these people who are his own cousins, uncles, teachers, grandsires, I cannot fight with them. They are worthy of worship, worthy of people who are to be respected. How do I fight with them? Therefore, in the next verse, he says, you see, Tasman narha vayam hantum dardarashtran swabandhavan swajanam hikatam hatva Sukhinasyama madhava. Dardarashtran, Dhritarashtraputran, the sons of Dhritarashtra, Swabandhavan, my own relatives, Narha vayam hantum. Vayam, we, hantum, to kill, Narha. They don't deserve to be killed by us. Therefore, Arjuna, Krishna, they are not to be killed. Why? Katam swajanam hatva. How, after having killed our own people, sukhina hasyama, how will we remain happy? This is a problem with most of us. We learn many things. We study, we attend study group, and then we listen to all these lectures. But after we finish listening, maybe 4 or 5 days, when we go out, clean slate. Nothing really impacted us. Some jokes maybe, Swamiji spoke very well. That has nothing to do with personal growth. It is like going to a sports game or sports event and then go and see the nice, beautiful play, basketball or things are going on, you pay a lot of money and then look at it and go home. Nothing happens to you. They make money, that's all it is. What happens to you? You spend some 2-3 hours and that's it. So this study of scriptures should not become an entertainment. This is for enlightenment. Where I should get something to do. Some change should happen in me. Otherwise just witnessing some game or anything else or a movie, and go home and entertain, that's it. So what he says is here, by killing them, what are we going to get? In fact, can we be happy by killing all these people? So when we look at ourselves, we alone know what is actually imperfect in us. How we have become victim of our own emotions, our own prejudices, our own ego, our own pride, but yet we have no guts or the strength to let go of them or overcome them. In spite of all the teachings that we receive, all the things that we read, we don't have that. Exactly what Arjuna feels. Why should I do it? Krishna was not saying anything. He was just watching him. It's like a typical psychiatrist. You would keep talking. It so happened one psychiatrist got so bored with this fellow, he's constantly repeating the same thing over and over again. He told him once, I'll do one thing. I'll keep a tape recorder here. You keep talking. Okay. Whenever I get a chance, I will listen to it, instead of me sitting here and listening to you. So he put a tape recorder and he went to the bar and he was drinking. After some time, he saw this fellow, the patient, also coming to the bar, sitting next to him. Hey, I told you to keep talking. Yeah, I recorded my talk to a tape recorder, and your tape recorder listening to my tape recorder. Let us drink. So let us not become a tape recorder, just listening and then erasing it and then again listening, erasing it. And I'm also not a tape recorder. It's repeating the same thing over and over again. So here, we are not able to make any change because change requires certain amount of challenge. Face the challenge. We have to. That means we have to let go of something which we are very close to, we are our own pet ideas and habits, we have to let go. And that is a hard thing to do. In our tradition we have, when you go to Kashi, you have to give up something which you like. So last time I took some people from here. When we went there, I told all of them, hey, around 60 of them, you have to give up something. So one person came and said, I don't like eggplant. Even me, I don't like eggplant. So can I give up eggplant? No. You have to give up something which you like. Oh, how about my wife? I said, which you like. Oh, yeah, right, that's right. Anyway, so you have to give up something. And that is the most difficult thing, especially something which we are very familiar, habituated to. So here he says, I am unable to, swajanam, meaning our own people. Katam hatva, having killed them, sukhinaha. How do we become happy? Because my happiness lies in doing the same thing over and over again, even though I know it's not right. So, he says that I am just feeling very lost. And why did you put me in this condition now? Had it been an unknown enemy, I would have killed without even asking you. But now I am not able to even hold my weapon. My hand is shaking. Thinking about how in the history my name will go down, one who killed his own people for his own personal, gains. For his own personal interest, he has killed his own cousins. This is how my name will be seen in the history. So I am feeling very low and self-pity. I am unfortunately in this condition. This self-pity in Sanskrit known as kripana. Kripa, sympathy. Kripana, on the other hand, is self-sympathy. And therefore, because I am looking myself in such a miserable condition, I have lost my ability to think further. Meaning, I cannot fight. My all abilities, the archery and other things which I know, is not coming to me now. Therefore, he says, you see in the next verse, Karpanya doshopahata svabhavaha Prichami tvam dharma sammuda chetaha Yashreyasyan nishchitam bruhi tanme. Shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. Every one of us have got certain inborn qualities. Not necessarily it is same as anybody else, even one's own brother and sister. This is how each jiva or each soul is unique. Even in your own home, when you have two boys or girls, or even twins, they would not express everything in the same way. That is how our masters have understood that everyone is a unique individual. And the uniqueness comes because of your prior predispositions. Either you are born with that. So the possibility, like today they say DNAs decide your personality. But in the masters in the past they say it is not the DNAs, your past birth. You have carried these traits of what you are for many, many lives. That is called Swabhava. Swabhava means one's own unique traits. And based upon that would be your way of life. So broadly classified as Brahmanaha, Kshatriyaha, Vaishyaha, Shudraha. They are not based upon the birth, based upon your innate qualities. Inborn qualities, Swabhava. And Arjuna was born with the quality of a warrior, Kshatriya. And he says, in this particular condition, my Kshatriya quality is gone. Because of the self-pity, Karpanya dosha, because of the defect of self-sympathy, Swabhavaha apahataha, my natural quality of being a Kshatriya, warrior, is gone. I am not able to think like a warrior now. And also, even if I think myself as a warrior, as a one who has to fight this situation, my action, is it right? Now, this brings to us another important subject matter. What is known as action, and second one is called right action. One is called karma, another is called dharma. Hinduism is basically built on the understanding of dharma. It is loosely translated as duty or responsibility or righteousness. If you go to any Sanskrit dictionary and look for the meaning of dharma, it will run into 2-3 pages. Because it has so many connotations according to context. Dharma may be duty, dharma may be nature, dharma may be a responsibility. So here he says, I am not clear about what is the right thing to do right now. If you say, I have to fight, I don't see anything justified here. Because if I have to fight just because they are enemies, I see them as my own relatives. Are they really enemies? So they are enemies from the standpoint of they who have taken away our country. But on the other side, they are my own cousins. Which is right? Should I treat them as my cousins or should I treat them as enemies? I am not sure. Therefore, dharma sammuda chetaha. My mind is deluded about this. If let us say that you are carrying a gun for your own protection. But if I just take a picture of yours with a gun, I can as well call you as a violent criminal. If the police officer is carrying a gun with the police dress, justified. If he is not in the dress and he is carrying a gun, he is not considered as right. Why? Because the context changed. If a soldier is fighting a war, in the process he has used his gun and killed somebody, we praise him, we adore him, we give them medal. But the same fellow, because of his personal enmity with his neighbor, take the same gun, shoots him, he is put in repression. Why? Gun is the same, person is the same, motive is different. So what is important here? We have to understand the motive. Why he did this? And that's what they are trying to find out, right? Why did he do this? These two brothers. What is the motive? One is praised because he has killed the enemies in the battlefield. Another, the same person is punished because he killed his neighbor out of personal motive. Now he asks, what is the motive for me to fight this war? About that, I'm confused. So, dharma also means the motive behind action. So, dharma sammoda chetaha aham. I'm not clear about the purpose of this war now. At the end of it, I will stay, but none of our people will ever. Even on our side, maybe there are so many people will be killed. So, in this particular context, please tell me what is that which will give me the highest good. Yes, Shreyaha, that which is the highest good. Syad Nischidam Bruhi. Please tell me for sure. Tad me, to me. Shishyaha te aham, I am your disciple. Shadimam, instruct me. Prapannam, I have surrendered to you. Shadi Mam does not mean Shadi Karo. No. Shadi Mam means instruct me. In Hindi, Shadi Karo and Shadi Mam. He's not asking Krishna to come marry him or one thing. Please instruct me. What should I do? So I am your disciple, meaning I am ready to follow a discipline. That is what is called disciple. A disciple is one. Shishyam anucharadi or shishtam anucharadi is shishya. One who is ready to follow the discipline. Meaning, what a teacher says, he will think about it and intelligently practice that. That is why he is just a disciple. So here he says, I have decided to not to fight the war until you tell me, is it going to be right? And he put down his bow and arrow. Now, you tell me. Now this situation is very interesting. Because from there, Duryodhana is watching. Hey, what's going on then? He's not fighting, what is the conversation going on? Like as though they are sitting in a Starbucks coffee or what? This is in the battlefield, the war, they have to start the war. There's a big, scene of huge amount of people standing there ready to fight. And a serious conversation between these two. So Duryodhana getting restless there. Because he had a larger army than even the Pandavas. So he was sure to win. But then, the war has to begin. And he was getting restless and, that's a different scene. He will urge others to do something about it. While this personal conversation between Arjuna and Krishna is taking place. So here Arjuna has succumb to his own emotions. Karpanya doshopahatas swapapaha. My inner trait as a warrior has been taken away by the self-sympathy. Prichami tvam dharma sammoda chetaha. Therefore I am asking you, O Lord, O Krishna, that I am unable to I am not clear about what is the right thing to do. Yashreyasyan nischitam brohitan me. If there is a right outcome that has to come out of this whole thing, what is it? Please tell me. Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. I am your disciple. Now you teach me. Until this point, Krishna did not open the mouth. A good teacher is one who looks for a good disciple. Good student. And student must be ready to receive the knowledge. He must be a receptacle who is empty. If the student is full of it, he will not listen to anything. In one place they were teaching this tabla, And the board was saying, fresh student, $15 per hour. Students who already know how to play tabla, $25 per hour. So somebody asked, why did you do that? Because those people have to unlearn before I teach them. It's like you go to a barber shop and there are two rates. Those who have hair, $10. Those who have no hair, $15. How is that? No hair means not much of hair. $10 because I can cut anywhere. $15 I have to search and cut. So therefore more. Anyway, so here, unlearning, because he has his own confusion. First of all, Krishna has to make him unlearn. So Krishna was waiting for Arjuna to submit. I am surrendering to you. Until that point, knowledge will not take place. Because you become very judgmental. If you, see, that's why giving advice you have to be very careful. One person came to me, one lady came to me and said, Swamiji, my son wants to have a dog as a pet. What do you say? I said, do you want a suggestion or an advice? Or you want my opinion or advice? So she said, what's the difference? Opinion is what I think. The advice is what I want you to do. Start with opinion. because advice means I have to follow, right? I'm not sure about that, but better start with opinions. Nobody wants others' advice, So here Krishna would not open his mouth until he says, I am ready to follow you. Sishya te I'm your disciple. There's a difference between devotee and disciple also, Many people say that I am Gurudev's disciple. You are only a devotee. Why? Because you are not changed. In spite of listening to him, if you are not changed, that means you didn't follow. Devotee means who admires. Oh, Gurudev is great. He did this, he did this, he did this. I have gone to all his camps whenever he had in US. One person came to Gurudev and said, Swamiji, I have gone through all the 18 chapters of Gita 2-3 times. Good. But has ever Gita gone through you? You have gone through Gita many times, but have any time Gita gone through you or not? And one person came to him, taking his holy Gita book in his hand. Swamiji, yes, please write something for me. The whole book is written for you only. Why are you asking me to write anything further here? Advice, personal advice, Upadesh. Here Krishna would not open the mouth until Arjuna submits completely. Prapannam, prapatti means surrender. Meaning I have no more opinions of my own. That is called surrender, prapatti. Swami Tejaman used to say, surrender means sir under. Meaning I keep my head bow down to you. Now you teach me. So here Krishna begins his teaching. This is in the 2nd chapter. It's a most beautiful verse. He says, our life is somewhat miserable and suffering. Of course, Swamiji, zindagi ek safar. No, that's not what I mean. Safar also means journey in Hindi. Whole life is a journey. No, that's not the safar Hindi, here English safar. Shoka, sorrow. So now what is seen is Arjuna is a picture of all sorrow. So lost in himself. He is not able to fight. And Gurudev calls it as a typical case of psychosomatic disorder.